I think next year we'll be in the Barclays Arena. We'll squeeze into the Barclays Arena. So I have the deep honor and privilege not to introduce a survivor, not to introduce a patient. Today, I'm introducing a dancer. Woo! Nicole, come stand up. I love this quote from Faith Whittlesey, who said, "Remember, Ginger Rogers did everything that Fred Astaire did, but she did it backwards and wearing high-heel shoes." I think I did offer to do an interpretive dance to introduce Nicole, and my friend Herminia said, let's just stick with the script. Nicole Donlon was diagnosed with breast cancer at the astoundingly young age of 37. Her diagnosis has in no way taken away her passion for life. It's not taken away her drive to encourage her students whom she teaches dance to dance with passion, to dance with joy, to dance with a heart. Her foundation, I love this name, which is called Save the Shimmy Foundation, aims to raise breast cancer awareness and to lift the spirits of those affected by this disease. At this past October's American Cancer Society Making Strides Against Breast Cancer, Nicole organized something called a flash mob. Now, I pictured trench coats and all sorts of bad things, but it turns out they remained clothed throughout the entire. And a large group of beautiful young people got up and spontaneously danced, and it really brought the audience to its knees. It was so incredible. Nicole is a remarkable person, a remarkable spirit. She's an absolute inspiration to all of the lives that she touches. And I'm going to introduce her with this quote from Agnes de Mille, who said, "To dance is to be out of yourself, larger, more beautiful, more powerful. This power is glory on earth, and it's yours for the taking." That describes Nicole Donlon. Woo!
Thank you so much for that very warm welcome. It is an honor to be here to share my story today on this glorious day. April 17th, 2009 was the day that my life changed forever. I was walking into my very first mammogram at 37 years old, but it was my inner voice telling me that something was wrong. And although I believe that my story does go back actually August 2008, and I was in a car accident. And that night, I noticed a lump in my left breast. And so the next day, I had it checked by a primary care doctor, and he dismissed it and reassured me that nothing was wrong. And that inner voice was telling me again, I don't know, something's not right. And I wish I could just pause and go back and tell that girl to have further testing. And shortly after that, my health, which I definitely took for granted, I was 37, I was invincible, I was never going to get sick, but my health started to unravel. And then it was January 2009, and my niece was born, and she's here today. And it was the greatest gift that my sister could bring to our family because she brought such joy in my life. And her name fits her so perfect, Grace. And she is my amazing Grace. And who knew that this little baby being born into the world would do more for her aunt than she could ever imagine. And then I got the courage up, even though I was fearful, to have that mammo done. But you know, it is that fear that gets us to the doctors. And then it was a little bit after that the biopsy came back, and sure enough, it was invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 3 breast cancer. Well, when you hear cancer for the first time, you know, you can't move, and I couldn't sit, eat, sleep. I didn't want to do anything except be alone with my thoughts and my tears. And then I said, well, wait a minute, if I do have this breast cancer, I'm sure there's a way to treat it. So my journey started to find the right doctor. And I had some advice given to me by other breast cancer women going through treatment. And their advice was, go to Manhattan. Those are the doctors that you want. And I made an appointment to go to one of those fancy so-called cancer centers in Manhattan. And me and my mom spent probably 7 hours there that day. And I felt an overwhelming feeling of loneliness, and I felt cold. And I knew this wasn't where I was going to be treated. And I prayed for that sign from God, and I got it. And my dad received a phone call from another doctor friend, and he said, I'm sorry that your daughter is sick, but if you're looking for the best breast surgeon, look no further, for he's right in your backyard at Maimonides Cancer Center on 8th Avenue. And his name is Dr. Patrick Borgen. And by just hearing that, I felt like, oh my God, it like clicked. And even before meeting him, I felt like this was going to be okay. And I remember the first day walking through Maimonides Cancer Center and the doors open. And I felt the warmth and love and almost an embrace coming from the walls, coming from all the people behind the desks, coming from the glittery faces of all the cancer patients. And I think I turned to my mom right then and there and said, well, this is where I want to be treated. And I was in the waiting room, me and my mom and my sister, and this young man came over to talk to me. And he worked there, and he told me it was going to be okay because you're in great care. And that was Michael Brinkett. And I'm sure I can stand up here on behalf of every cancer patient and lives that he has touched to say that he has done so much for us in our recovery and through treatment. He has that way about him that tells us we look good. Maybe our wigs aren't on straight, but we still look good. And that we can do it. And we believe him. And I couldn't get up here to talk about Maimonides Cancer Center without mentioning Michael. And I love you, Michael, wherever you are. There you are. And then I got to meet the man, my hero, Dr. Patrick Borgen. And in that instance, I knew I was in great care and great hands, and I felt at ease. And how can you feel at ease when you're diagnosed with cancer? But I think that's what Maimonides Cancer Center does. It's a home. And along with my other wonderful doctors, Dr. Alan Astro, and the PAs, Karen Zelkowitz, and Megan Moran, and all the doctors, Dr. Cooper, and all of the doctors at Maimonides Cancer Center, they create a home. And on started my treatment. 8 rounds of chemo, was bald as a baby. It grows back. But I think the big question for me was the lumpectomy versus mastectomy. And I remember back in '09 shouting at the top of my lungs, well, no one's going to take my breasts. I love to shimmy them, so can't take them. But it was halfway through treatment, and you know, I said, take my left breast, take my right breast, take both, take my hair, take my hand, take whatever it is you have to take in order for me to live, because that was the key word. And, you know, having breasts is not what makes a woman. It's her heart, her soul, and her passion. And so October 29th, 2009, I had a left radical modified mastectomy. And I feel like I aced it. I did very good with it. Radiation to follow. And here it is now, January 2010, and my niece is turning 1. And my hair is growing back, and I'm starting to feel better. Maybe not that 37-year-old girl, but probably better and smarter for it, because I know too much. And I got back to work again. And like you heard Dr. Borgen say, I'm a dancer. I get to dance and teach children and share my love of dance to them and express myself through music, whether it's sad, pain, or love. I get to express myself. And the support I received from my studio, Reflections in Dance, was overwhelming love. Prayers, well wishes, and I know that that support also aided me in my recovery. And then I realized I have a platform here. I have young kids who, and the dance community, that are watching their teacher go through this. And I'm seeing young 4-year-olds or 24-year-olds wearing bracelets that say "Fight Breast Cancer" for their teacher. And I believe that maybe this was my calling. This is what I was going to do. And along with Save the Shimmy, we coordinated a flash mob, and things were going really well. And then it was August 2011, not too long ago, and my bubble burst. Cancer came back knocking at my door. And this time it was in distant lymph nodes, and when we hear distant, we know it's another different diagnosis or a different stage. But here I am, 9 months later, sitting pretty here at stage 4 breast cancer. And I'm here on this glorious, beautiful day. And I'm a survivor. Whether or not I'm cured or not, I call myself a survivor. I call myself a survivor from that very first day, as we all are survivors, no matter what illness, no matter what cancer, or just surviving life. All the trials and tribulations of life, we all are surviving and thriving. And I hold these very special words with me of no day but today. And I think about that, and I take that with me, because there is no day but today, and in this moment. And we talk about the cure, and maybe that there is a cure, and if there was that magic pill, I'm sure we would all run to go get it as fast as we can run. But for me, I feel the cure is right here. Amongst all of you beautiful people, of all of the people supporting us, cancer patients sharing their stories, our amazing team of doctors. With all of this love, how would cancer want to stick around? Yes. And I just want to say thank you to Maimonides Cancer Center for taking me and my family in and creating a home. And thank you to Reflections in Dance for supporting me. And thank you to all the cancer patients for fighting, because that inspires me to fight. And thank you to my family and friends, some of them here. I thank you for believing in me and always supporting me. And of course to my Gracelyn, thank you so much, Gracelyn, for putting a smile on my face, even on those dark days, for pushing me to get out of bed and looking at me, whether I was bald or sick, and never judging me, and looking at me through love. And there's one more person I have to thank, and that is my mom, Stephanie. Mom, thank you so much. You are my #1 warrior, at the top of my army list, a band of warriors. And you have been there. She's been here, Mom, through every treatment, never missed a treatment, never missed an appointment. And I have to say thank you so much. I love you, Mom. And I think that we should conclude in this celebration. I think we should all just shout out that we are survivors. Let me hear it. Survivors! And I do have faith, and I do believe. I believe that God is watching over us and holding our hand. And He is walking with me through my journey. I know He's holding my hand and will continue to. And I believe that He is here for all of us. And when He can't, or when I can, I'm sorry, I know He can. And God bless everybody, and please enjoy this day. We're survivors. Amen.
We'd like to present Nicole with a small token of our appreciation to commemorate this day. This beautiful crystal vase says, Maimonides Medical Center, National Cancer Survivors Day. We honor Nicole Donlon as our keynote speaker, May 31st, 2012, signed Pamela Breyer, President and CEO. I'm going to turn the program